This is Module 4 of your Finance and Accounting class, and in this module we'll cover the concept of break-even analysis. Before we discuss break-even analysis, however, we need to differentiate between two terms, cost and price. Although they are used interchangeably at times, they do not mean the same thing. The price charged by a manufacturer for an item is equal to the cost plus the markup. So a food service pays for raw materials. This is part of the cost of producing an item, and then they add a markup to it. So in the food service industry, we'll produce an item at a cost and sell it for a price. Okay, so let's look at the different types of cost that we have. We have two different types of basic cost and some variations on that. The first cost is a fixed cost, and examples of it are buildings, rent, depreciation, insurance, overhead, equipment, and administrative labor. And administrative labor is considered a fixed cost because administrative labor is often salaried labor as opposed to hourly wage labor. A variable cost is food, beverage, and the production and service wage labor. Okay, fixed costs are called fixed because they stay constant for regardless of the volume of business that you may have. It's not affected by the volume of business. A variable cost is called variable because the cost changes with the level of activity. The more activity, the greater the variable cost. The less activity, the lower variable cost. This variable cost is impacted by the efficiency of the operation, the design, the quality, the safety, and a higher sales volume or lower sales volume, and should be correlated with your revenue and profits. So, when we take the fixed cost plus the variable cost, we get total cost. So you see that in this formula on this slide. However, in any business, regardless of if we're considered to be a nonprofit or not, a business has to make a margin of profit in order to be able to reinvest in maintaining their facility, maybe adding or replacing equipment that needs to be replaced. So we add profit to this formula. So profit is equal to revenue minus total cost, or P is equal to R minus TC. Total cost, which is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. So keep in mind that in order to look at our revenue properly, we need to cover our fixed cost, our variable cost, and the profit that we have determined to be necessary to maintain and grow the business. Now, this is a diagram here that you'll need to be familiar with, and this shows you the break-even point. So let's start out, first of all, with the fixed cost. You see the line with arrows? It's the sort of gray line. That's your fixed cost, and you see it's level because fixed costs do not change with the volume of business. The next line up is the green line, and you see that line is the variable cost. We start at point 0 and we plot the variable cost. Now, the next level of cost that we would add would be those things that are additional costs that would be added to it, and that is your red line, and the red line starts at the fixed cost line and is plotted on top of the variable cost line. So you take the fixed cost plus your variable cost and you get your total costs. The blue line is your total sales. We start at 0 and we plot our sales line. Now let's step back a minute and take a look at what do the X and Y axis mean here. The X axis is your revenue and the Y axis is your cost. You see a circle there on the chart, and that is where your total sales equal your total cost, and that is the break-even point. Once your total sales is equal to your total cost, you have broken even, and after that point, you start making a profit. The break-even point is the intersection of revenue or total sales and total cost. Profit, again, is equal to revenue minus total cost. So let's say that profit is equal to 0. So that means when revenue is equal to total cost, profit is 0. When revenue is greater than total cost, we start making a profit. There's also a formula in addition to a diagram for break-even analysis. And the break-even formula is fixed cost plus your profit desired divided by 1 minus the variable cost over the sales gives you your break-even point. For this module, you are given some information under assignments in your Blackboard, and I would like for you to practice calculating and drawing a break-even point. Please take a look at the assignments under the Assignments tab.